Hey internet friends, let me tell y'all about the latest chapter in the saga of our lives over here in Atlanta. Or more specifically, just a stone's throw away in Conyers. It's currently Wednesday when I'm recording this, but on Sunday morning, a company named BioLab who makes pool chemicals. According to the official story, around 5 a.m., the sprinklers started malfunctioning. And unfortunately for everyone, BioLab makes water-reactive chemicals, causing a huge chemical explosion, and it's been smoldering ever since, coating the sky in haze and filling the air with the aroma of chlorine, creating this big toxic cloud darkening the sky. And I don't know about you, but to me, this story is sketchy at best. Not all these details are checking out, and honestly, there's a shortage of details on this story. A lot of y'all on this channel are from Georgia, myself included, but my house is about 40 to 50 miles away from Conyers, where BioLab is located. I want to know what you're experiencing, what the sky has looked like near you for the last few days, what it smells like, how you're feeling. Initially, 17,000 residents were evacuated, and they issued shelter-in-place orders for over 90,000 residents of Rockdale County due to concerns over air quality, particularly the presence of chlorine gas, which I, of course, haven't seen news stations point this out, but it's very important. During World War I, chlorine gas was used as a chemical weapon by the Germans. And what happens is when it's inhaled, it reacts with your mucus, and it can lead to choking and death. So imagine if you're inhaling that chemical cloud even a little, it's probably very irritating and can cause you harm, because it's basically similar to the kinds of chemical weapons that were banned by the Chemical Weapons Convention and the Geneva Protocol of 1925. And I just want to state the obvious here. Let's say this was done on purpose. Chlorine gas explosion released on a very populated area, that would be considered a weapon of mass destruction, an act of war. I also just want to say that the messaging around this disaster and these emergency notifications have been so confusing. They told everyone in the affected area to shelter in place, but the last thing you want to do when you're being gassed is shelter in place. It doesn't matter if you have the windows closed on your house, even though that's what Rockdale County government advised. Sheltering in place, remaining indoors, and keeping windows closed to minimize the exposure. Like I told y'all in my last video, on Monday, me and my grandparents were just sitting around chatting, and our emergency alerts all went off on our phones, and it was really eerie. The wording of the alert was very strange, saying that the EPA is monitoring the air for these toxins, and that the chemical levels are unlikely to cause harm to most people. For the past few days, the cloud of toxic fumes has blown over from Conyers, I told you I'm 50 miles away from this, into nearby counties like Gwinnett and even Cobb County, which is where my husband works, and he said it smelled like chlorine outside yesterday and it was hazy. As of today, the BioLab facility is still smoldering and there's widespread haze everywhere. Reported today, the whole EPA monitoring has detected hydrochloric acid in some of the samples that they're gathering, which people are breathing in, and like I said, when inhaled, it can result in upper respiratory tract irritation, spasms, and if you got a direct hit of it, enough exposure, which I'm not saying is happening in this instance, but if you got enough of it, it would kill you. The first alert I received was 3 p.m. on Monday, and on Tuesday at 1:47 a.m., I received another one of these blaring alerts saying the exact same thing. Unlikely to harm most people, that our house is falling under the affected radius. And they texted me at 2 a.m. to say this. Wake us all up just to tell us nothing. That's like psychological warfare. It's really, really strange. Apparently, there have been several incidents over the years at this lab. The fire, which is BioLab's third significant incident over the past 20 years, comes at a time when part of Georgia has been totally devastated from this hurricane. Like, there are a bunch of people without power, cell phone service, having to boil water, all these things in one part of the state. And now we have this disaster close to Atlanta as well. Thank you to Melissa from TrueStream Media who sent me this article from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution dated 2004. The title of the article is Fire Checks Left Up to the Industry, Biolab Workers, Not State Licensed Inspector Examined Sprinklers. Quote from 2004, last month's blaze sent a plume of noxious smoke billowing for miles across East Metro Atlanta. No one died in this whole 2-day ordeal, but it prompted the evacuation of thousands of residents and shut down local businesses. Chlorine-saturated water from the fire hoses contaminated a lake, end quote. So 20 years ago, this exact same thing happened, but on a lesser scale. They were able to salvage a bunch of chemicals and some of the warehouse in this instance. But basically, the article says there's little to no oversight or inspections, and this company, which has all these toxic chemicals, are just willy-nilly doing whatever out there with their proven pattern of negligence, which is actually in line with some of the Google reviews of the company from their former workers. Here's a review from 5 years ago. Horrible management, rude supervisors, very unprofessional workplace environment. Should be shut down. If a fire marshal comes strolling down and does a check, this place would probably be shut down. End quote. And you know what? I'll give it to you, once is an accident. You can't attach malice to an isolated incident which could be attributed to negligence. Twice, you definitely probably should have been shut down. 3 times? I don't know, seems purposeful. Seems intentional, seems like we're not getting the entire story. Also, we're not being told the full list of chemicals that were stored at biolabs. We're having all these articles come out now saying that the EPA is detecting chlorine levels exceeding the action level around the facility. But they don't really explain what that means. I think that means don't breathe the air around Conyers. There's now a class action lawsuit you can join. While there's been no reported deaths from this incident, people are posting on social media that their throats hurt, and one guy on X said that his son threw up from exposure. There are posts on social media of ash and debris from the fire being found in people's yards. We'll know nothing of the long-term effects of this exposure until a later date, of course. Like East Palestine all over again. So keep your toxic explosion decor out along with your harp decor and your train derailment decor and your election year decor. October is shaping up to be pretty chaotic. And just a reminder that the government isn't giving away any kind of good advice to anyone beyond it's unlikely to be harmful to most people. Schools and businesses remain open. It's just looking now like the wind is carrying it away to multiple states and out to the coast. Let me know what you think, internet friends. Let me know what you have observed, what you saw with your own eyes if you're over in Conyers. But I hope you're all happy, safe, and healthy as you watch this. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, supporting my channel on Patreon, and buying my book, The Deep State Encyclopedia. Bye.